Respected dignitaries on the dais, my colleagues from Government of India and from different states, ladies and gentlemen, Namaskar. We are very happy to be here in Bangalore. This is the second conference of its kind that has happened over the last couple of months. In September, we were in Guwahati, where Honorable Minister and the ministers from all northeastern states were present. And we tried to impress upon the states that such an important initiative of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, how this should be, what has happened so far, and how this should be taken ahead in near future. So there's a quick presentation on what is it all about, what have we done so far, and how do we look ahead in the future on this account. So first of all, there are themes of Amrit Mahotsav, and as Honorable Minister mentioned, that it is both about celebrating the past and also looking at our future and also our achievements that have happened over the last 75 years. So these are the 5 key themes of Amrit Mahotsav. First and foremost, as Secretary Culture also mentioned, is the freedom struggle. And we have to respect and honor and showcase especially the unsung heroes who have not found the requisite place in the history books and in the curriculums of school so far. So we need to showcase, we need to identify people who contributed to our freedom struggle, and we need to showcase them. And then actions at 75, achievements at 75, ideas at 75, and resolve at 75. We also have to see where we want the country to be in, let's say, 2047, 100 years after we got independence. And if you kindly recall the speech of Honorable Prime Minister from the ramparts of Red Fort on this last Independence Day on 15th of August, he calls it the Amrit Kal, that from this point onwards to 15th August 2047, this is the greatest period that India can have to leapfrog, to jump ahead, to move ahead in the era of progress. So, as I was saying on freedom struggle, we have to showcase the forgotten heroes. There are many movements and struggles which again have not found their due place in the history books, in our conscience. Ministry of Home Affairs has a list of 40 such freedom struggles, and we are trying to build literature on them, podcasts on them. In fact, Honorable Minister just inaugurated a podcast on these 40 movements of freedom struggle, which began only last week. Then there are key milestones and what ideas that inspired our freedom fighters, the great heroes that we had, and what ideas brought them together so that we could achieve independence. So these are the themes on which events can be curated when it relates to freedom struggle. About ideas at 75, the ideas relate to the India's great theme of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Everybody has to coexist together in a nice and harmonious way. The issues of national security, especially the newfound defense production fillip that has been given in India, innovation, and what better place to talk about innovation than Bangalore. There's so much has happened on the field of innovation in the last few years. So many new startups, unicorns, and every day in the economic newspapers we find a new story where something has become a unicorn. So we need to showcase all that to the world. And then peace and unity, of course, that is India's biggest then idea of India, development, sustainability, and justice. I'd like to give important importance to sustainability. As the Honorable Prime Minister visits Italy and UK for COP21, how India can play a major role, in fact, a stellar role in the whole world when it comes to sustainability and climate change. So I think we need to build many events around that too. In terms of achievements at 75, these are some of these sub-themes. Women at 75, villages and rural areas, how they have progressed over the last 75 years. The youth, the environment, the diaspora. There was a lot of mention about how our embassies abroad and how our diaspora abroad have been making direct and indirect contribution to the progress of the country. So they need to be leveraged now. And there's already talk of defense at 75 and economy at 75 as we move towards the $5 trillion number that we are aspiring for. Um, Actions at 75, there are many schemes, many flagship schemes of Government of India. Of course, there are many schemes of the states, and they have their own themes around which such programs have been are being implemented. So there is the Swachh Bharat, Swasth Bharat, and everybody, the previous speakers have talked about how we were able to achieve the 100 billion number in vaccine, and how the National Digital Health Mission was launched. A new program on health infrastructure was launched by Honorable Prime Minister about 3 days back in central Uttar Pradesh. So these things are the actions to which India looks forward to, and they need to be celebrated, they need to be showcased as part of our overall umbrella, under the overall umbrella of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. There is a theme of Ek Bharat, Shresh Bharat, One Nation, the great PDS challenge of having one ration card for the entire country, and many things like that. So we can build events around this. And then resolve at 75. As I was mentioning about the mention that Honorable Prime Minister made on the Amrit Kal, which is the period from now to 2047. How do our young generation, they aspire India to be in 2047? What are the different ideas that we want to propagate, that we want to push forward? So those need to be showcased. And of course, there are sector-specific aspirations. What do we want to achieve in sector A, B, C, X, Y, Z? And then, of course, the most important is, it's not the government thing. We have to involve everybody, especially the younger generation, the students, the youth. And a lot of action is happening in the non-government sectors by entrepreneurs, by non-governmental organizations. So they also need to be showcased and encouraged. And the best way is to fix a target. For example, this 100 crore vaccine target was fixed, and how beautifully it was achieved. So in all the sectors, we can have a target, and we work towards that, so that the achievements are measurable and then give us satisfaction at the end of the day. In terms of the priorities, as I would just like to say that this is one of the most important programs of Government of India as on date. And the committee to implement Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, there is a national committee which is headed by Honorable Prime Minister. Then there is a national implementation committee looking at the functional and execution aspects that is headed by Honorable Home Minister. So they meet frequently and they decide on what are the mandate and priorities. And then as the nodal ministry, the culture ministry, coordinates with all other ministries to take it forward. So this is how it works. So what we have been given as mandate and priorities are in the next few slides. So on 26th July, Honorable PM emphasized very clearly that this is not a government function. This has to be a people's thing. And as he said, it is a Jan Utsav and Jan Ke Dwara. So we have to engage people in a very intense manner. Now, pandemic did offer some obstacles on this account, and there was issues in engaging directly, physically with people. But as the pandemic slows down, of course, we have to be careful and watchful, but we need to move from online to more hybrid and physical events so that the engagement of the people, especially the children and younger generation, is better. Schools are gradually opening up in many states, so we need to engage again intensely with children and young generation. Of course, the specially abled, the Divyangjan, have also to be made part of this great Mahotsav, and there has to be a special emphasis on that. The last point is very important. We have seen that in all the states, whether it is Orissa or Karnataka or even smaller states, there is always a regional difference that some parts of the states are showcased better and some get neglected. So this also happens at the national level, but is also so true at the state level. So we need to make sure that all regions of a specific state are equally celebrated, because India is an immense country, and every district, every region has something great to showcase about, whether it is tourism, culture, freedom movement, nature. So that needs to be kept in mind. As I've said earlier, how we want India to be in 2047, that's our vision. So we need to document that in very clear terms with specific targets. And there is a program called Postcards to Prime Minister, where which is under implementation, where we are asking children to write 2 postcards to Honorable Prime Minister. One about who they think are the heroes of the freedom movement, But the other and the more important is what they want India to be in 2047, what little small things they want India to have in the year 2047. So then we'll bring all these ideas together, we will do a little analytics and then put forth to the government, maybe the cabinet, as to what people are looking forward and how those could be converted into government programs and priorities. In this, we respect that each state must have iconic programs, iconic meaning big programs, where the efforts of different ministries and departments within the states can be synergized, and so that there is a big show, so there is an impact, there is visibility, and people latch on to this for this celebration. Of course, the pre-event publicity and post-event publicity is very important, because unless you have outreach, the programs will not have the desired impacts. More in the times of, as the ADG Tourism was mentioning, pandemic has given us this paradigm of converting the challenges into opportunities, the adversity into opportunities, the use of video conferencing, the use of technology, the use of platforms like Bharat VC, Zoom has grown exponentially, and we need to leverage that. So even post-pandemic, when the things ease out, we need to focus on how best we use technology for this program. And again, what better place than Bangalore to emphasize this? If we want to have this in a structured way, we need a calendar. And I will request all the states to give us a calendar. Some have sent us the calendar in a very nice form. I think Karnataka has done an excellent job in giving us the calendar and the number of activities. I would request the other states to follow suit. And if you need any help from us, we are always available for assistance. In terms of, as Secretary Culture, Mr. Govind Mohan was mentioning, we've already done about 7,000 events from March 12th, 2021, when the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav was launched by Honorable Prime Minister through the Dandi Yatra thing. And if you see, about 2,000 events have been done by states and about 5,000 by the union ministries and departments. In terms of hybrid online and offline, this is the share. About 1/3 is hybrid, about 1/5 is online. A lot of events have happened offline, and we need to further increase the number. But as I said earlier, we need to be cautious about being careful about the pandemic thing. As emphasized again and again by National Implementation Committee, we need to focus more on Jan Bhagidari. So this is about 1/3 events about 5,000 events have had good Jan Bhagidari. The share of states versus union is shown in this chart. In Government of India, it was decided by the National Implementation Committee that every ministry will have an iconic week where they will curate big events for mega outreach and larger impact. So these are some of the things that have happened, and some of them have been great success. And we need to take ideas from there as to how they were able to build the tempo on that and how they leverage that. About the road ahead, we need to integrate the themes. We need to, because when we are looking at iconic events, we need to put everything together, leverage the synergies, and do big, impactful events. So this is one representation of that. Just an example, there was an event that happened on 21st October to commemorate Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's contribution of when the first Azad Hind government was declared. And if you see on the slide, so we intensely engaged with our missions in Singapore, Malaysia, Myanmar, and Bangladesh through, of course, Ministry of External Affairs. Then within the Government of India, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Tourism, Railways, Information, Broadcasting, we all came together and curated this big, impactful events. States, there was an excellent participation from Odisha, Manipur, Nagaland, West Bengal, Gujarat, Government of Delhi, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So we all came together and created this big, impactful event on 21st of October. This is just an example as to how few states, ministries, and even our overseas missions can come together and curate big and impactful events. This is, again, I'm showing this because this came from Karnataka, an excellent idea of saying no to plastic. But when you talk of environment, there are many things happening, many events being done by different ministries, Ministry of Jal Shakti, Environment and Climate Control, Forests, Youth Affairs and Sports, the drinking water. So on this theme of sustainability, all can come together and create bigger events. This is just a suggestion. For example, the tree plantation, the Vriksharopan, is done by many agencies, many states, many PSUs. They all have their programs. So if we can all do it together, it will become a huge number and we can create a great impact on this initiative. So this is just a suggestion as to how we must follow an integrated approach. Again, a suggestion, many of the states present here have their foundation days on 1st of November. I know it is very close. We are today on 28th of October, but maybe next year, this is a great opportunity for all the states of southern India to come together and have a big event on 1st of November on the occasion of their foundation day when the states came into existence. So similar themes can be curated. These are just a few ideas, just suggestions. To tell you about the National Implementation Committee in its last meeting headed by Honorable Home Minister decided that every month there will be 5 big events till December, and from January it will be 10, February 15 and March 20 events. So these are the example of the things that are being done at the level of Government of India. These are of course woven around the themes which are there on the first column. So there is the Ministry of Tribal Affairs and Government of Jharkhand. We are focusing on the Birsa Munda Jayanti. Then Ministry of Culture, Home Ministry, Department of Rajbhasha. We're doing a Kashi Utsav about the literature, significance of the great literary personalities that have come from Banaras, that is Kashi Utsav, and many things like this which are mentioned here. So if any of the states present here, they want to come forward and participate in this so that we make it bigger, you are most welcome. After this conference, as was said by the compere, that my Joint Secretary, Mr. Madnesh Mishra, and I, and if the Secretary is free, we will be available for greater discussions, and we can decide on the modalities if you wish to participate in these events so that we make a bigger impact. There are some other housekeeping issues. This is a great initiative at the behest of Honorable Finance Minister Nirmala ji, and we are creating a district digital repository. Every district has some events related to freedom struggle, some monument, some site which has a significance which probably has not been showcased to the extent it should have been. So we are getting data from district collectors. We are also doing our own research. DG National Archives of India is sitting here. He's helping us dig out data for across the geography of India. And we are trying to showcase every district as to what unique thing happened in that district, because that will make this event more engaging and improved. So people's personalities, events happening, hidden treasures. Every district in India, every region in India has something, some story, some small monument of great significance. So that needs to be showcased. It's all being put on our central portal. So I'll give you some example that some things that we have done our research in this region, that we are showcasing the Akamma Cherian from Kottayam, Kerala, as the Jhansi Ki Rani of Travancore. Then the Shimoga in Karnataka, first village to declare itself free from the British. So these are things which are known locally, maybe at the level of the state government, but we want the rest of India also to know as to how Shimoga was the first village in the country to declare independence. I mean, at least I didn't know before I joined this ministry. So it will be a great education for the rest of the country, of people across the spectrum to know such great pearls which exist in different parts of the country. Similarly, in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Honorable Home Minister was there on 15th and 16th. Many things that have happened there. We just know about Veer Savarkar and Cellular Jail, but beyond that, several things have happened which we need to know if we are celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in a real, meaningful way. Related to that is an issue of unsung heroes. District depository also includes places, the natural things, but unsung heroes is there are heroes and there are important people who have contributed immensely to the freedom movement or to small social movements, reform movements in different parts of the country. And we need to showcase. So we engaged Indian Council of Historical Research, and they have given us a list of about 14,000 people who have actually contributed to the freedom movement, who have remained unsung. But we want to go beyond that, and we want states to tell us more about the unsung heroes of small regions, small areas, which should be showcased now. These are some things which I just wanted to make part of this presentation. Mr. Iyer from Tirunelveli in Tamil Nadu, then Oruganti Mahalakshamma from Andhra Pradesh in Nellore. Then, of course, he's famous, but we're still not given as much importance. There's Komaram Bhim from Adilabad, Telangana. So we want many similar examples to be put together. As I said, calendar is very important. I'm just re-emphasizing the point. If you give us a calendar, we can also plan in advance. We can support you. We can supplement your efforts so that your programs become more impactful and meaningful. There's a website. I should not be saying it, but it's a good website. Please have a look at the website called amritmahotsav.nic.in. Whatever the states are doing, whatever the ministries are doing, it gets automatically uploaded onto this. We have a content management system which is built onto the website. So it's almost an automated system. I'm very glad to say here that Karnataka has been very, very active on uploading their events on this website. In fact, sometimes we get like 20 calls a day from Karnataka as to why my event is not there. So we take some time because there is a moderation that happens. About 6-7 hours, we see what is there and whether it is in a structured form. So sometimes it gets delayed, but I'm very happy that Karnataka is super active on this. These are some of the guidelines. We keep doing trainings twice a week for state nodal officers as to how you should efficiently upload objects and events on this website. So this is some details of that. Just a 2-second thing on what we want to be showcased as to who organized the event, who was the chief guest. If an honorable minister or an honorable member of parliament or honorable MLA was there, we want that name, that picture to be there. What happened in that program, the details, when did it happen, where did it happen, and why. Why meaning, how is it linked to one of the 5 themes of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav? So if you just give information on these 5 parts, we will be very happy so that the structure, because as I mentioned in the previous slides, about 7,000 events have taken place. So we need to have the same structure, otherwise all the information will get jumbled and it will not be meaningful. Many states have done excellent programs, so we want to share the best practices so that the other states get ideas, because we got an idea from Say No to Plastic by Karnataka, which we are now taking it to the national level in a big way. So similar things, if some state has done some great work, we not only want to showcase it on the website, but also tell the other states and ministries in Government of India that please look at this is done, and you can also think on those lines. You can have this banner on the website. It's available. The logo, of course, all states have done it now. It's also available for download on the website. In the slogan, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, as was emphasized by my previous speakers, the last one is very important now, which is Sabka Prayas. So as Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we are following whole of government approach. We are following that it is a Jan Utsav, Jan Ke Dwara. So Sabka Prayas is the key paradigm here, which needs to be emphasized again and again. So if all of us come together, I think we will make it happen, and it will be one of the biggest events in the world as to how India has celebrated its 75 years of independence. Thank you very much. Namaskar.